Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez.
And I'm Kevin Friel. We'd like to remind you right at the top that the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website. You can log on at www.town.barnstable.ma.us. Plans to improve traffic flow on Yarmouth Road in Hyannis took a major step forward last week as a task force comprised of wide-ranging interest in town and beyond selected a new design for the busy roadway. Leading the Yarmouth Road corridor studies public process was Cape Cod Commission transportation engineer Glenn Cannon. And earlier today, Nick sat down with Cannon to talk about the past, present, and future of this major infrastructure project.
So we're talking today about the Yarmouth Road Willow Street corridor access study. It's come a long way since the beginning of the process, and I'm wondering, before we get into the decision that was recently made by the task force to choose a preferred design option, if you can talk to me about where this all began and how we got to this point.
That's always a good question in transportation, Nick. The beginning of the project, I would say, occurred somewhere around 20 years ago.
Wow.
When people really started to look at Yarmouth Road, which I think is typical for lots of major transportation projects. They take a lot of time to develop for people to be comfortable. We reinforced our process last May, really. That was our first kickoff meeting right here at Barnstable Town Hall, and then we went through the summer, the fall. Slow down a little bit in the winter for the holidays. We have a hard time getting people to our public meetings during the holidays. Came back, reinforced that with the task force in early January.
So the process was a long time in coming to this point, and I believe we still have a long way to go, but we're at a critical juncture right now. The task force that was given the responsibility of choosing one of the 12 options that were proposed chose one. So explain how they arrived upon that decision.
Yeah, I want to reinforce this is a critical moment right now. Like I say, when the studies start 20 years ago, what happens is they go 20 years and they are failing. So they are not getting to a point where they are progressing. The task force has made a huge step in that progression. We went through with all 12 concepts. As we went through those concepts, some we brought forward, some the public brought forward, they were eliminated for different reasons. Impacts to neighborhoods, environmental impacts, impacts to businesses along Yarmouth Road. We really came down with two options at the end. The one that was the preferred option by the task force, and then there's a second option that has not been eliminated, so it's still viable.
Okay. So describe for us, if you will, what it was that the task force chose.
Yeah, the task force chose Concept 1A, which is on our website, www.gocapecod.org/Yarmouth Road, and that is basically continuing the four-lane cross-section, the boulevard-type design that's been done in the town of Yarmouth up by Exit 7, and bringing that four-lane cross-section all the way down to Route 28.
Okay, so with that said, we've heard talk here on other programs on Channel 18 and in the public meetings that we've watched on the Town of Barnstable's channel as well when you were here at Town Hall regarding the fact that this option is going to require takings by eminent domain for some businesses in the area. What did you hear, and what did the task force hear from those business owners? And I guess that they were comfortable enough based on that to make this decision.
Yes, as it came forward, we put out option 1A. Of course, it was the first option we had on the table. It's been out there since the beginning of May. And we had a specific meeting with the Yarmouth Road business owners on Yarmouth Road at one of the existing businesses. Joe Lahan, as a matter of fact, very gracious host for us. He helped us collect the business owners. We sent out notices to them. We even went door to door talking to them, announcing the meeting to them. And I would say, with the exception of a few, they were very responsive to Yarmouth Road being widened, knowing that those impacts would be onto their businesses. They made more business decisions than personal decisions. They were more concerned with the process, getting a fair value for the land and relocation, than they were about the emotional attachment that I think you see with residential homes.
I think we need to stop for a moment and just talk a little bit about the thoroughness of this public process. It certainly seems that this was not a surprise to anybody by the time that the decision was made.
Yeah, I think one of the beginning steps was a great thing to reach out with the task force, and we went out as wide and as broad-based as possible. And we brought in the chamber, we brought in local residents, we had the police, the fire, Barnstable Municipal Airport, as many groups as we could gather onto our task force so we could hear their voices. I would like to particularly thank Joanne Brito, a resident of Yarmouth Road, who did a great job of relaying the message back to the residents. many of the residents along Yarmouth Road are elderly now, and they have a hard time getting out to the public informational meetings, aren't comfortable with accessing things off the net, off the internet. She did a great job of relaying that information back to them and then bringing back their feedback to us so we could address their concerns.
Absolutely, and that's excellent that the public did choose to get so involved in the process. Now, moving on to what's in store, what's ahead here, there's still a little bit of process left to go to make for the decision to become official for this redesign, right?
There is. There are a few public informational meetings or public hearings coming forward. One will be at the Joint Transportation Committee earlier this month on February 12th. And then next will be the Metropolitan Planning Organization. Again, those are public hearings. The public is welcome to hear your input, your feedback. We'll also be putting out our draft report, hopefully March 1st, and we'll be soliciting public input on that also. I would hope at this point that I've addressed this with every group that I could find so that the negative impact won't be coming back to us that would hinder this process.
So, so the final report ends up being published and out there when? If it all goes well.
Yeah, I would say sometime in April.
Okay.
Sometime in April.
So, fairly quickly that we're going to get this component of the project done. But you're on record as saying to other people that this is just one component of a mega project, if you will, for that whole area.
Well, I also want, this is a critical component because you're moving forward with public support, and that's huge. You have your business support, you have your resident support, you have the chamber support, so that's a huge moment. But the biggest step for us is to come right in front of us right now, and that is funding. With all transportation projects, they're extremely expensive. So the funding is critical in any of these moments. Even for Yarmouth Road, that funding is beyond what the town could support.
Yeah.
It is partly beyond what the state typically gives for the Cape Cod region to support. So even the Yarmouth Road project will probably go as a mega project. I've had some preliminary discussions with state officials who have really talked about it going as a mega project, and that is going on Yarmouth Road, starting at exit 7 in Yarmouth, all the way down Yarmouth Road to Yarmouth Road and Route 28, the Route 28 section between Yarmouth Road and the Airport Rotary, the Airport Rotary improvements, which came out of the Hyannis Access Study, and then even a short section of Route 132 gets affected there also by the Airport Rotary reconstruction. So that mega project, they think, would have a better chance of moving forward as one project as opposed to breaking it up into individual components. Because we had discussed that earlier about even phasing, even the Yarmouth Road project could be phased into the Yarmouth Road and then Route 28 in Yarmouth Road. But all the indications I'm getting right now is that we should try to come forward with one large project.
Glenn, my last question to you, because unfortunately we're almost out of time, I'm wondering if you could venture a guess as to when a shovel could be in the ground for something like this.
Yeah, and I know I've been criticized for this before but I'm very optimistic about it. We have a lot of momentum right now. We've built a lot of community support for this. We have a lot of support from the town of Barnstable, from the town of Yarmouth, the chamber. I think a 5-year window is realistic. I think right now, with federal stimulus money, we need to chase that money, we need to be aggressive, and that we could have a shovel in the ground within 5 to 7 years.
For more information on the Yarmouth Road redesign, visit gocapecod.org/Yarmouth Road. And for more perspective from Growth Management Director Joanne Miller-Buntage and Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce CEO Wendy Northcross on how a new design for the road was selected, check out the Tuesday, February 2nd episode of Barnstable This Morning. It's available on demand at the town's website.
Let's take a look at this week's meeting schedule. On Wednesday, February 3rd at 7 o'clock, the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission meets in the Selectmen's Conference Room. Then on Thursday at 7 o'clock, the Town Council has a hearing in the Town Hall hearing room.
Well, that's all the time we have for now. For Kevin Friel, I'm Nick Cortez. We'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.